I noticed that Roblox, a game that's intended for children, have been throwing underground shows. You'll find hardcore, mincecore, grindcore shows somewhere in this game. And if you're wondering how that looks, it's probably as chaotic as you're thinking. You probably saw this in passing and didn't think much of it. But when I saw this, I took it way deeper than it should have been. How does Roblox cross paths with these obscure music genres? Does this actually benefit bands in any way? And what actually is this? A community, a game? Are there bands more popular than others in this underground Roblox scene? Luckily, I managed to interview a promoter to one of these shows along with some bands on that bill, and I dove as deep as I possibly could in this scene. Trust me, I went pretty far back. Today we're gonna document the strange and dramatic history of this underground Roblox punk scene. Before anything, I have to explain what Roblox is really quick. And the easiest and shortest way to put it, Roblox is a website where you can make and play games with other people. You get a character who you can customize and play millions of different games with. And all these games are made by other Roblox users. It's popular amongst children and teenagers, and that's really it. As simple as this game sounds, it's actually insane how deep it goes and how much controversy can come out of it. There are so many corners in this game, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, where does hardcore, mincecore, deathcore shows come into play here? As stated before, Roblox games are made by other players, and something that's pretty popular on the website are simulators. And people like to simulate real life things. The best example I can think of comes from last summer. IKEA, yes, the furniture store, actually made an IKEA simulator game, going as far as hiring people and paying them real life money to work in this virtual store. There's treasure hunting simulator, fishing simulator, arcade punch simulator, work at a pizza place simulator, laundry simulator. It goes on and on. Countless of games simulating things that don't even make sense. Why would I ever want to play a laundry simulator game? So simulating concerts was inevitable. I'm confused because Roblox is a game for kids. This is what I imagine a Roblox player looks like. And this was kind of hard to Google image without feeling like a creep. How do Roblox kids know what mincecore is? I want to explore and find out, but where do I start? As I was streaming, I've been sent a show flyer from one of my mods, but it wasn't any ordinary flyer. It was one for a Roblox deathcore show. So me and my chat knew immediately that I had to attend. But I want to do more than just attend this show. I want to know how it came to be and why. So I reached out to the promoter and bands to ask some questions. As I wait for some replies, let's go ahead and hunt down the origins of this scene. I just hope they answer soon because the show is Sunday and it is Tuesday right now. Checking out the comments in one of these TikToks, I saw that there's a Discord server for the mincecore shows. But unfortunately, some idiots raided the server and sent crazy shit, so invites were currently closed or something, which forced me to do the next best thing, which is play Roblox. I saw in a comment that there's a game called The Yard, so I hopped in, but it was a ghost town. Now I have to find my way into this Discord server if I want any answers. I asked my personal Discord, go join it by the way. I asked my YouTube community tab, I Googled it to absolutely no luck. Until I noticed The Yard had an Instagram name attached to it that said DM for shows. So I hit this person up and prayed to the Instagram gods that he'd reply. However, we are on a time crunch, so I had no time to waste. Unsure if he'd reply, I just kept hunting. Then I struck luck. I found a video on YouTube of a show and commented asking if anyone has the server link. Then I realized who posted this video. And it was Koi, who's been watching me for a very long time. Thankfully, I have them on Discord, so I asked for server access and got the link. Wherein, I'ma be transparent with you. I'm pretty broke, so I have merch, and there's some pretty cool designs on there. Go ahead and check it out if you're in the market for some clothes, or maybe swag out your fridge a bit. I know it's looking a little rough. Make it pretty. Have some Vizzy magnets on it. Support your boy. We got replies, baby! The promoter, who goes by Cakman, replied, and so did 3 bands that are playing that bill. How did this show come to be? Like Cakman, I did talk to him for like half an hour yesterday, but on your guys' end, what happened? He just hit you up or what?
So he originally hit up our bassist Adrian while we were in Tucson. And then Adrian brought it up with us and we were like, how is that going to work? I told him like, yeah, we're gonna be in it, and they just added us to a group chat, and then gave us like the rundown of what was going on. We didn't even know the bill. We just said, yeah, we'll hop on.
We just got a DM by Cakeman.
Cac lives in Arizona. That guy's crazy. Like he'll drive out like for an LA show to just film it and stuff. So I met him there, and then he just DM'd me and he's like, yo, you want to hop on this like Roblox show? And like I honestly I didn't even ask anything. I was just like, yeah, sure. That sounds funny as fuck.
I'm visiting home, so I literally someone resent me a video of that, the viral video. I saw that and was like, okay, I have a week free right now. I'm chilling with my family. Like, I'm gonna make this shit work. So I just started texting all my friends, seeing if anyone would be down.
How do you set something like this up, like music-wise? Do you upload a song and then how does it go? Like, I've never been to one. Like, how does this work?
I don't know. I have no idea. We were given a date that we had to have some music by, and that way that they could upload it to the server. So I don't know how that's going to work.
You can upload MP3s. So I'm just having all the bands send me MP3s, gonna upload them, and then we can like command play them over the whole server.
As the MP3 is playing, you got the band like virtually on stage, and they're just like jumping around. Like, so there's no actual like, singing or playing. It's just all like okay. So you guys are just gonna kind of be role playing like your set.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like more of like an online showcase necessarily than like a show, you know what I mean?
I did get very inspired by seeing the mid stuff, seeing viral videos and stuff of people moshing. At first, I saw the yard and was going to try host it there, and I actually met someone in the yard that then told me they had a venue. So I hit the yard dude up, and he had told me that he was busy because he's been doing a lot of shows, which is understandable. But then I basically made this other one work,
How old were you when you started getting into this kind of shit?
In high school, I started like on my fucking wall. Like I haven't updated this since high school. So that's kind of like the taste I had like freshman year and stuff. But I got like into the scene like about 2.5 years ago, maybe. It was like, it was right after I graduated.
The start was probably more grindcore, like dabbling on the internet, probably like 16, 17.
When you listen to these genres, it doesn't feel like it'd be appealing to the younger crowd. So to see like these obscure music genres kind of collide with fucking Roblox, right? And you think of the average Roblox kid, you think of like a 9-year-old. I'm trying to discover where they meet. Now, the kids that attend these like virtual shows, how old do you think they are?
Like say kids right now that are 15 to 16, they like were a baby when they were like first playing Roblox, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so now they probably still are playing it, and then they see something that's kind of lines up with like what they're kind of growing into, like the music scene and stuff. But on average, I do think it is probably like, I'd say average is probably 15 to like 16 or something like that.
Because it's going so viral, especially your Instagram posts, you just helped expose 6 names, right? Out of the fucking blue.
At first, I had no idea that this shit was gonna like get like that, and I would low-key, my first thought was being nervous that it wasn't gonna fill up, like that it was just gonna like be stupid and there's like 5 people in it or some shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a link like the day of, and all the bands are gonna post on their story, and you can only join with the link. So I could get you the link.
Better.
Like,
that's so much better, because instead of it being filled up with randoms, you have people that actually enjoy the bands and are into it. That's very, very smart. When did you discover like this like underground fucking Roblox scene? Like,
I've only ever seen grind shows like on Reels.
But I don't know, it's cool.
It's gonna be funny. I was like watching like the videos of the other ones on like my TikTok feed.
We've done a Roblox show before, like out of impulse.
how often do you guys play Roblox shows?
Second, third
Twice,
time.
no?
That's it.
Yeah,
twice.
Yeah, I saw this dude on TikTok. His name is Kieran, Australian dude. Like, he's not in anything. He's not in any scene, but he throws his show. Even though it was like, it wasn't like a promoter through this, right? It was still pretty fun. It was still pretty hilarious. It was pretty humorous, and it was pretty solid too.
So in 2022, when this was going down, how big was the Roblox scene then, and what kind of music was it?
It wasn't in the scene or anything. It was just, even though people did pull up, it was just every internet friend we made from this guy named Kieran. From all the funny shit we did, it just all led up to that, and it was pretty solid.
And how do you feel like this Sunday's gonna go?
overall, I'm extremely excited because it's like a sick thing that I'm glad is coming together. I'm hoping that a lot of other people are excited. I've been seeing a lot of story reposts of people like in awe that it's happening, so I think that's cool. It makes me really happy for like younger me, because I've been playing Roblox since I was a kid.
I'm hoping it runs smoothly.
I feel like it's 50-50. up in the air, dude.
So I don't think anything should crash. I think it's dope. Like it's like a new way, not only promoting music, but like maybe people who like don't go to shows and like play video games only see this like flyer or something and like, oh fuck it, like I'll hop on like on a Sunday night.
But I'm also extremely nervous that it's gonna flop right away and like it'll literally just crash, or out of nowhere an MP3 doesn't work. So who knows, you know? Even with the link, it might crash. Like I think there's a high likelihood of so many people clicking the link that the server's just gonna crash and then nothing will work. We're having an issue. You upload the MP3s and then they'll play through the server so everyone can hear it at once. But obviously, like you said, it's a very obscure genre, and some of the songs, when you upload it, it'll give you a message saying that you might get banned for playing loud screeching noises.
I know the promoter is a little nervous because the server might crash, because the flyer for this show went viral on Instagram.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
I did learn a few things from my conversation, but one of the things I want to touch on right now is I realized that Roblox isn't filled with 9-year-olds. I'm just old. Roblox released in 2006 when I was 10, but the growth was super slow and started seeing big popularity around 2015. And by that point, I was 19. Not to say 19 is too old to be playing Roblox, because I'm a 29-year-old man and I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't enjoy the Survivor Simulator or Phantom Forces. But while growing up, Roblox never really interested me. I never had that Roblox phase. But according to this graph I found on Reddit, 15% of players are between the ages of 13 and 16. And in 2022, Roblox had around 250 million users, which leaves us at 37.5 million people that play this game that are between 13 and 16. But why is this relevant? Because this is the average ages when you start getting into cool music. Think about it. How old were you when you started discovering like the cool bands you listened to? Most likely between these ages. I know that's when I started listening to System of a Down, Korn, Breaking Benjamin, Five Finger Death Punch, you know the vibe. These were pretty much my gateway bands. With that being said, there's a market here. There's no way there's not a small batch of kids that's into these obscure music genres. These shows popping off shouldn't be too surprising. It makes sense. Those videos that went viral obviously attracted more people to the scene as well, especially the older crowd that used to play Roblox but don't anymore. Now that I'm in the server, it's time to see what's up. I conversed a bit in the server asking people basic shit, like how'd they get into the music, how often do shows occur, and how long has this scene been active? And it turns out there was a pop-up that same day at a venue called The Altar. So I decided to boot up Roblox and experience my first show. I joined the pit and got to hitting kids in the face. It was fucking ridiculous, as expected, but at the same time, cool as shit. I also thought the chat was pretty funny. There was even a point where someone made a racist remark, so the band said to beat the racist in the pit. And the turnout was pretty cool, and the scene seems to be active. Playing hardcore and grindcore throughout the night, it was a good time. So after a bit of kicking it in there, I had to refocus onto the mission because seeing the activity here was pretty cool, but I really just wanted to find out the roots. Where did it all start? I got no luck from the guy on Instagram as he states he's always busy, so I did some extreme stalker shit. In the Mincecore server, I went to the announcements tab and scrolled all the way up to see some of the OGs that are in this server. And there were two names up there, those being Mike and Shh. So I DM'd them both to see if I can get an answer on how long this scene has been around for. Because it seems like the server was formed in the summer of 2024, but I know these fellas aren't the ones who started the scene, they're just responsible for popularizing it. And this is when the rabbit hole starts. Hosting shows in a video game isn't new. We've seen Fortnite do it with artists like Marshmello and Travis Scott. And Minecraft was big on this trend too, even making careers like 100 Gex at Coachella. But I can't find any record of people doing this with underground artists from the punk and metal scene. And to be honest, if any game can pull something like this off, I think Roblox would be the one to do it. Having options to crowd kill, drink, and mosh, the fact that it's a game made for children, the whole thing is just ridiculous and the perfect concoction to a viral masterpiece. And virality is something that the alternative music scene kinda needs. I've seen people in TikTok comments compare these shows to Dedene's Grand Slam, and you'd think that there's no correlation, but when you think about it, there kinda is. The Denny's Grand Slam went so viral that it became a part of heavy music history books. Blink-182 did a parody of it and used it for promotion for a tour they were about to do, even inviting Live Without, the band that did the Denny's Grand Slam, to play a few dates on the tour. This viral moment opened up doors for this band and this kind of music. People probably saw this, did some research, and found out, holy shit, hardcore is cool. The ceiling for heavy music is super low, and if a band is at 100k listeners on Spotify, they pretty much made it. But if a pop artist has 100,000 listeners, they're unfortunately nobody. So having moments like this that breaks through the ceiling just feeds the scene. Thanks to Mike, I got a bit of scene lore, and like most good stories, this is a pretty juicy one. I spent days trying to piece together the story because there was so much chaos, and the easiest way I can tell this story is by dividing it into 6 small chapters. So sit back and relax because this is a wild one. Now keep in mind, I'm sure there's way more lore. I'm sure there's way more scenes. It's just this happens to be the route I went down. I'm just giving you all the information I was able to get. Now let's start with... Roblox has groups that people can start and join. Think of it as a World of Warcraft guild or a Call of Duty clan. And people within said group typically hang out with each other. Motorcycle groups were and still prominent in the Roblox scene. They just hang out, do virtual motorcycle stuff, I guess. I'm not too sure. But there would be virtual bars that these motorcycle heads would hang out at. And some of these bars consisted of stages. One motorcycle group that went by Ungrateful Legion had a user that kind of kicked everything off. And this user is Willie. Willie had a game that was called Willie's Bash. This is where the Ungrateful Legion would just kick it and hang out. Willie, being inspired by these bar shows and with a love of punk music, decided to throw shows of his own at the bash for him and his biker friends. He made a stage and a few of his friends got together and formed the band Filthy Chicken Scum. It was great, definitely not as popular as the scene today, but everyone still had a great time. Willie eventually left Ungrateful Legion to join Public Threat, another Roblox group, but rather it being a motorcycle group, it was a group that consisted of row punks and row skins. And if you can't pick up what that means, it's punk kids and skinheads in Roblox. And this is when things started shaping up. Willie's Bash was a success. People loved it. Loved it so much the community started throwing their own shows, which just expanded the scene. There was even a Discord server that almost everyone and anyone who was in the scene joined up, which just made the community a lot tighter. The second the server pinged everyone that there was a show going on, the floodgates opened. But like most things, when too many people get involved, drama is inevitable. In comes Black Flag Rules 2. Black Flag was a show attendee that became inspired by these shows, so he decided to throw some of his own. But people didn't like Black Flag. He was the new guy. They called him a squeaker, and apparently his venues were ass. His shows didn't do that great comparatively to the Public Threat shows, and unfortunately, the negativity got the best of him. Not only did he give up on throwing shows, but his account entirely. However, he had no idea the amount of pressure, scene power, and popularity would come his way. Rebranding to Vio. He started a new account and attended these shows anonymously, eventually meeting another attendee that went by Skate. Vio and Skate slowly started to throw shows together after just attending for a while, even recreating a real-life venue known as CBGB's. CBGB's was an iconic punk venue in New York that became extremely popular, so seeing a virtual version of this was super cool, but there was a problem. There was already a CBGB's venue made by the Public Threat guys, so the Vio rebrand wasn't entirely too clean. As tension arose between Public Threat and newcomers Vio and Skate, Public Threat being annoyed, feeling as their idea was stolen and made in lesser quality, while Vio and Skate felt as they weren't really doing anything wrong. They just wanted to have fun and throw shows. It even got to the point where Public Threat got Vio's version of CBGB's shut down. And you may be asking yourself, how does someone get an entire game shut down on Roblox? Well, people kind of abuse the report button. Apparently, if enough people mass report another user or game, Roblox automatically takes said person or game down. And you're going to notice that this is going to be a common tactic used in this story. Kinda shitty, not gonna lie. But Vio and Skate didn't let the shutdown get to them. They decided to start a new venue that was called Chaos Point. With a new venue under Vio and Skate's belt, they kept throwing shows there, and the tension between them and the Public Threat guys kinda fizzled away over time. There was never a proper beef squashing or anything. It seemed more like, hey, we exist, you exist, I won't cross your line if you don't cross mine. And that's how they stood until Public Threat slowly faded away. They kind of just stopped throwing shows as Vio and Skate kept the momentum going. And eventually, Chaos Point started to pop off. They had their own Discord server that was active, alive, and the shows? They were the best they've ever been at that point as word got around about this underground hardcore scene. However, things weren't as smooth as you'd expect because we have a new enemy this era, and that enemy being For You Blue Bar. For You Blue Bar was a newer venue that started getting some attention, and Vio and Skate weren't having it. Keep in mind that they're the biggest promoters of the scene right now, and it wasn't easy. They worked hard to get to the top, being consistent with shows and attending others, getting bullied at the start and thugging it out, ignoring the target on their back. So competition will naturally get their guard up. During my interview with Vio, he admitted the reasoning for being against For You Blue Bar was not only the competition and them actually getting a lot of attention, but it was also the lack of effort being put into these shows. He also stated that they were playing dad rock, which Skate and Vio hated. The bar existing kind of just pissed them off. And from an unbiased outsider perspective, it's kind of silly. There was no real reason to hate the bar. They're throwing shows, having fun, and aiming towards an untapped market, which was dad rock, while Skate and Vio had the hardcore scene in their hands. So as long as everyone stood in their lane, everything should have been fine. But the beef escalated as t-shirts were made, and these t-shirts said "Kill For You Blue Bar." As a rebuttal, the bar mass reports one of Skate's venues and gets it shut down, causing Skate to slow down his efforts in the scene a bit, all while tension was brewing up between Vio and Skate themselves. During their time as a duo, things started getting a little weird. Skate has been banning people from their Discord server for seemingly no reason and abusing his virtual power, which rubbed Vio the wrong way. Skate caught on to Vio being uncomfortable with this mod abuse, so trust started getting lost. Skate would remove admin privileges from Vio in Skate's personal venues and would cause tension between the two, resulting in a feud. The feud, on top of Blue Bar getting Skate's venue banned, kinda took away Skate's drive to continue with shows. However, this wouldn't be the last time we hear from Skate. While behind the scenes everything seemed like it was on fire, the music scene was actually growing and doing better than ever. Closing off the duo era, Vio ventured off doing his own thing, meeting friends like Mud who had great venues and really good game assets. They then start collabing for some shows, causing the quality of them to increase along with the headcount. But we soon learned that word to mouth is a double-edged sword, as the increase in popularity was actually a part of the downfall. Vio was on top of the scene. Everyone knew who he was. Vio had the best venues. He threw the biggest and best shows. If you paid any attention to this corner of Roblox, you knew who he was. Skate, seeing the amount of success Vio received, tried to tiptoe back in, but Vio denied Skate's re-entry and kept moving on his own. However, one TikTok ruined everything. Vio had a show going on and someone recorded the mosh pit and uploaded it to TikTok. The video was titled Deftones Mosh, but the issue was Deftones wasn't even playing. The video went extremely viral, causing a flood of people entering the scene. The scene was already peaking and now reached an all-time high because of this video. There were so many people, it started causing server issues. But the problem lies in the quality of people. The clip attracted the wrong crowd. A big chunk of the people attending were just tourists, being there for the experience rather than having any care for the music. And this turned off a lot of the regulars that would go to these shows, because the scene went from pure and the spot to hang out with your friends to just another Roblox game that kids would dip in just to punch people and leave. And what typically happens with trends? They die down. So once going to shows stopped being cool with the randoms and a big portion of the OGs leave, what happens? Well, things become extremely dry. Luckily, someone else was around to keep the scene alive, but it definitely didn't come clean or easy. History repeats itself yet again. A new promoter hops into the scene who goes by Val. Val loved these shows. She didn't care that the popularity was declining, she just really enjoyed being a part of the scene. During the decline, she started hosting shows herself. However, reminiscent of Vio stealing CBGBs, Val stole a venue of Vio's that was called the Batcave. In her words, it was the same venue but worse, which obviously rubbed Vio the wrong way. Val's shows never did as well as Vio's, but she was still there trying to make a name for herself, having fun, being passionate, doing her thing. But an opportunity arose that she had to take if she wanted to see any growth in her scene. But this opportunity kind of bit her in the ass. An unknown leaker released assets of Vio's venues. And if you don't know, an asset is basically a pre-existing thing in Roblox that you have. So you don't have to make said thing from scratch while building your game. This can come in the form of audio, textures, models, and scripts. For example, let's say I have a battle royale game in Roblox and I called it Vizzy's Big V. When I make Vizzy's Big V 2, instead of remaking the guns, I can just reuse the old models of the guns to save time. That would be an asset that I reused. At the time, Val's venues weren't all that great. So when assets leaked from pre-existing venues, she thought, great, this is a good opportunity to increase the quality of my shows. So she got to work and made a brand new fresh venue that was called The Basement. This was an iconic venue in the Roblox punk space, as shows here really popped off and people would attend regularly. However, Vio, already upset with Val for stealing the Batcave idea, noticed that the private assets he made were used in this venue. Unsure of how Val got a hold of them and feelings piling up, Vio declared war. One night there was a show going down at the basement, so Vio and his goons ended up raiding the show. I asked Val what does it mean to raid a show, and she states a bunch of people join, start crowd killing the band, and just being annoying. Usually they end up advertising their own venues, then taking down yours as well. Val rebuttals and gets his venues taken down too, and it becomes a back and forth, just complete chaos. But during her spare time, not throwing shows or battling Vio, she plays another game called Church. Now, this game isn't a music venue or anything. It's just a hangout spot in a virtual church that Punks would hang out in. So Val would be there to hang out and advertise her shows. Now, it's unclear why this next bit went down or what started it all, but in this game, Val met members of a Roblox group. This group is known for hacking, doxing, and getting accounts terminated. During a session at the church, Val must have said the wrong thing to the wrong people, because they almost immediately get her account terminated. And unfortunately, this wasn't a one-time thing. These hackers started attending her shows and not only targeted her, but people that attended them. According to Val, she has had 13 different Roblox accounts. And apparently, to this day, they still search and target her. Meanwhile, the beef between Vio and Val got squashed and there's no more tension. But Vio got kind of tired of throwing shows. He's been doing it for a long time. The tourists killed the scene. There's hackers involved. He eventually just stopped. Val kept the torchlight on even though the scene went from a bright shining star to pretty much a ghost town. If you asked any show attendee or band or promoter at the time what they thought the future of shows would look like, I'm sure they'd all say that there was no future, except for one man, and this man is Luke. We are now entering the present day, the viral era, the rebirth of the scene, and it's looking the best it ever has, even surpassing the big boom after the Deftones video. But how did it happen? Luke attended a lot of Val's shows and was interested in throwing Mint's indie beat shows specifically, as Val's shows consisted of mostly pop punk at this point. So he asked her for some help with a venue and they get to work. Thus, The Yard was born. The scene slowly started reviving, but just like before, not one, but a few clips went viral on Instagram and TikTok, feeding the scene. And not only that, these are people that actually like this music. It's not tourists, I'm sure there's some, but for the most part, these are fresh faces in a fresh scene. And of course, this leads to CAC. Cax saw these viral clips and said, fuck it, I'm home for the week anyway, let me get some real life homies to play a virtual show. Let's see how it goes.
We're doing this for people who like can't go to real shows. In our conversation earlier, I mentioned I'm from like North Dakota, which is in the middle of nowhere. So since I was younger and kind of getting more into the music shit, I wanted so badly to go to local shows, but I literally couldn't.